We have the huge honor to welcome here with us today Mr. Barbet Schroeder. We will be talking about his latest film in official competition this year here in Cannes, the Venerable W. We have the pleasure of welcoming him for a 30-minute discussion with Ally Derks. Thank you both for being here. Please come join us. Thank you very much. A big round of applause.
Mr. Schroeder, welcome, yes. And fantastic that you're here and that you joined this group of documentary film lovers. The Venerable W.
Yes.
Part of a trilogy about evil.
Yes.
The first one is Idi Amin Dada, then we have The Terrorist Advocate, and now part 3. I don't think everybody has seen the film, so maybe in short, just like in a couple of sentences, what it's exactly about.
Okay, that's how it started. It started with me discovering that there was some form of genocide that may be in the process of beginning, and that there was a Buddhist monk and a Buddhist organization involved in that. And I could not believe it because, you know, I felt close to Buddhism, the only religion I feel close to, because it has no God and it has no faith. And Buddha told you that doubt everything, including what I'm going to tell you. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And this film is playing in Myanmar, what was called, used to be Burma.
Yes, this is...
And, but let's start talking about this trilogy. When you started with Idi Amin Dada,
right.
Then you already knew it was going to be a trilogy?
No, it's when I did this movie, Idi Amin Dada, I couldn't believe what I was getting, because I had, for myself, I had discovered something that was working beyond anything I had imagined, which was to have Idi Amin Dada do a self-portrait, you know. So I was telling him, just tell me what you want to say, tell me, I want to do a portrait of you, but you have to tell me what you want to show of yourself. And please feel free, please. And I was listening, and I just wanted to listen. And it was magical, because he was more and more natural, and I was getting incredible stuff that I couldn't but believe. And I said, well, this I'm going to do, because I knew he was a bloody dictator, you know. So I say, oh, this is really interesting to see evil in a close-up like that, and how human it could be, how sympathetic by certain aspects, and oh, this is really unsettling. This is really something that should be done more about different kind of evil and different kind of people. So right there, during the shooting, I was feeling that I was walking a few centimeters above ground. I decided then to do a trilogy, but of course trilogy means more, means more. And of course, even now, if suddenly it comes to me that I have to do something else of that kind, meaning with a central character that has some form of expression of evil, and then I would do it, and it would become a quadrilogy, you know, or quadri something.
Yeah, but why did you choose for the other two characters, Jacques Verget and?
Because actually, my original idea was to go from the dictatorship, the brutal dictator, to the dictatorship of utopia, the evil that was coming from a good, you know, like when you have an utopia, you're trying to make the world better. So you imagine what can we do, and there you had the Red Khmer, and that for me was like the ultimate thing, to be able to have the Red Khmer on camera talking about themselves, and my idea was to have them talk about their university years in Paris. And so it would have been a movie entirely in French, And actually, that was also the trick for me to get them to agree to do a movie with me, because they were guaranteed I would never ask a question about what they did when they were in power. The only thing I wanted to find out was their studies, their teacher, the cafe where they were going, what was the anti-colonial fight, fighting at the time. And so that was an example of a difference.
You were thinking about interviewing Pol Pot and his friends.
Right, and I had the yes, and then I couldn't get the money. I mean, so the project fell apart, and I still feel terribly bad about not being able to do this. This was an essential part of my trilogy.
I understand, yeah, but later on there's been a lot of films about the brothers in Cambodia.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that you have to have the people themselves explain themselves what they like in life, and what they for me to do a documentary is to talk about a person. And so I'm sure I would have found some interesting Khmer Rouge that would have been incredible too. Anyway, let's not talk about the movies not done. After that, I had...
I have one question about how was it possible you didn't get the money?
Well, I found 50% of the money, and that 50% was a very rich man in England who told me, listen, if you get the other 50% from French television, meaning that, you know, that should be easy to do, and that like that I don't feel like I'm just financing a movie with unlimited thing. I mean, it was kind of for me to prove that this was a serious project.
Yeah.
And well, it was not a serious project for the French television.
Surprised.
that was
really
my...
surprised. Okay, but continue. Pol Pot didn't work, or the Khmer Rouge didn't work?
And then, well, then I'm not going to list you all the movies that should have been fitted in this trilogy that didn't get made. But the next one that came along was to deal with terrorism. And so then through Jacques Vergès, the terrorist advocate, that was the title, then I was able to approach a phenomenon that was quite new, which is the blind terrorism, which, you know, we have every day now. It's becoming so common that, but this was examining all the beginning and how the beginnings had some kind of justification. It was the fight for independence of a colonial country, you know, so on. So this was a very ambiguous, unsettling, same thing. And now, of course, with this one, you know, this I'm going in more and more dangerous territory, because now we're not dealing with normal evil. We're dealing with something that is like the ultimate evil, which is the genocide. I mean, you know, we're getting close. We're in a zone that's very unsettling, very delicate, and the position. For me, suddenly it became okay. Now, how far can you go if you want to be objective, if you want to let the person talk, and how are you gonna do because this is always the danger when you don't want to judge a person that you're filming, and when you want the person to speak for himself. Then suddenly maybe it can end up being a propaganda film for him, for his ideas, and it is in a way. It is.
Yeah,
it is. There are many
really
ideas.
There, yeah, because
there are many of his ideas are said, and if you, I'm very happy when I heard somebody telling me 2 days ago, said, you know, some of the things that he was saying, I was feeling, yes, maybe he's right. And she said to me, but you know, after a while, I decided, oh, I got to work on myself, because I cannot have that kind of ideas. And so she started working on getting rid of any ideas that look like anything that is saying. Yeah. And because this, the great strength of the movie is the archive that this woman was talking. Because in the modern world, you have archives that are incredible, and with the archive you can see the result of a hateful speech in the archive.
Yeah, maybe for the audience, Veretout is really giving speeches that are, incredible. When you think about it, he's really telling that Muslims should not marry with a Buddhist girl because this interbreeding, it's horrible. He says children or Muslims are only allowed to have one child every 3 years, and which also
but this is a law that he managed to have, that was voted. You know, that's not just someone talking anti-Muslim stuff and that's crazy. No, this he managed with other Buddhist monks to make this a law. And now the problem is how you get rid of that law, because you're going to confront the whole group that has managed to pass those laws.
Exactly. There you come also to the role of our Nobel Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi.
Right.
Who,
that's part of her problem. Yeah.
But who agreed with this law?
No.
She did not. Or
No,
did I
no,
misunderstand then probably?
No, she does not agree with this law. She knows that she has to get rid of it, but she's afraid to confront. She's afraid to confront the Buddhists also. She's afraid to confront everybody because basically she's afraid to confront the military because she could be pushed aside completely if the military make a coup. We're back to square one, and so she feels that maybe she can do something to prevent them from being too bad and a little less bad and so on, and that's another way where you land in very bad territory. Yeah.
How did you meet Veretout? How did you contact him, and how was it possible that you? Was it difficult to interview him?
Just I knew it was, of course, imperative to be clandestine. So I was just a tourist, and I went there, and with a young lady with me, and we had a camera each, a small camera, those modern cameras that can film in 4K, 2 times the definition of the traditional cinema, 35 millimeters. So what else can you dream of? More than that, you can't. And so we managed to meet him, and I explained him that I wanted to do a movie where he could explain the French public what was his ideas. And I told him that we had in France somebody that was going to become president of the Republic that had the same ideas as him, and so that's why the French public will be very interested in finding out about him. So he kind of was
you felt honored, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But how did you have an interpreter with you?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
of course, yes.
And that must have been somebody you really trusted, of course.
Yes, I had to.
Yeah, because it could have been.
This is the problem when you go alone in a country like that, and you have to know people, and you have to know who you can trust, and you have to make some bets,
Yeah. And in the end, those three people, Idi Amin, Vergès, Veretout, what do they have in common? What is evil?
Well, evil has to do with humanity, I think, because if we think that evil is in the animal world, then it's a whole different problem. I think evil in the classical term for human, it goes with the human. It is so. What do they have in common? They're human, and they are in some kind of position of power, and that, for me, is also the root of many bad things. The power. I have an allergy to power, so that's why I end up doing movies where I don't impose anything to the people I'm dealing with, because I don't want to be the dictator who tell them what to say. but in the end, I'm some kind of betrayer. So it's not much better than a dictator.
Well, I think there's a huge difference. You know, when I was watching the film, there is, of course, there are monks who oppose to whatever Viratu says. Let's be clear about that.
Right.
It's not, but he's with a
Except
lot.
that he's against polygamy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
there you go.
There they all, that everybody there agrees. I'm afraid, but you know what I a little bit missed, to be honest, is a kind of real dialogue between the monks that oppose him and the monks that agree with him. So I see him talking, I hear him talking, and there are of course some other monks who tell a completely different story and their different beliefs, but no interaction. Is there any interaction?
No, because the movie, the first there is none, and then if you have that kind of argument, whatever argument he's involved in, it's a lost cause. You will never get anything, because when I did interview with him, he said right off the bat, very seriously, he says, "You can ask me any question. Any question you want to ask me, don't hesitate. Please ask them to me. I will answer any question you ask me." So you see, that means he's already ready that's like a big communist intellectual will tell you that, a big Jesuit will tell you that kind of phrase. So I knew right away that there was no hope in trying to contradict and argue, and that I was just asking to talk, and then I had to ask other Buddhists what was their opinion. And so you have some kind of a dialogue when, because the others present another face of Buddhism, and there is a dialogue, but not really in front of them, because I'm not doing cockfighting movies, you know, because I don't want to put two beasts together that are going to be fighting. I don't think anything is going to come out of that fight for me. I want to do some kind of a self-portrait of the man, and then when you watch the movie, you come out of the movie and you decide for yourself if you like his ideas, but no one can be, even if you like them a little bit, after you see the result, you're so horrified that you don't want to hear about them.
No, exactly. No, it was shocking. Also, the images that you showed in the film, that was definitely shot with a small telephone, about the Rohingyas who were murdered, whose houses were burned, and also don't forget, maybe something I have to say as well. He's also he is a propagandist as well, because he's running a huge media center. He's distributing films that are basically lies, or a lot of lies are in these movies, and he is on the internet, or he's twittering or whatever, and has over 1 million followers worldwide.
Right. No, it's pretty scary, and it's happening right now, and unfortunately he's an image of what's happening everywhere. It's not just a specific movie about. Yeah, he
hates
loves Marine Le Pen. He loves Trump, and he's a demagogue. He's all those things.
That for a country where 90% of the people are Buddhists, and only 4%, I think, in the end is Muslim.
And he thinks the Muslims are taking over. They're everywhere. They're taking control of everything. Exactly like in Germany in the 1930s of the previous century.
But why do you think the military agree, you know? Does it also have to do with the oil there in the neighborhood where they're living?
Maybe. We don't know exactly. There may be some reason of the oil is a good reason, because I show in the movies a documentary that was from 1978 in France, in which the documentary says it's maybe because of the oil, because they just found some oil, and they were trying to chase the people, the Muslim minority of Rohingya that were in the zone where the oil was found, And so they said they wanted to chase them away like that. They can control this zone by not having too many Muslim people, but having more Buddhists. So they imported Buddhists to take the place of the people they were trying to chase away. So this thing has been going on for a long time. You see all those things, and suddenly in the movie you go back to 1978 and you realize that it's been going on since then.
Yeah, of course it was a closed country. You couldn't go there. I went there myself a couple of years ago.
Right.
Met Aung San Suu Kyi, by the way, as well, and it's a very poor country. I mean, the rats on the streets.
The poorest country in the world, and it was the richest before the military dictatorship started. This is like a real. I mean, they had the worst. They had the military dictatorship and communism at the same time. So, like, to ruin a country, you can't do better than those two at the same time. And the movie, the country was the richest of the whole region at the time when this happened at independence. This was extremely rich country.
And I think there's also, it was mentioned in the film, I think as well, that they're very afraid of what happened in Indonesia and Malaysia.
Yes.
The raising of the Muslims or the Islam there, and maybe I don't know, because I know that Mr. Schroeder only has half an hour, and I think you're very busy here in Cannes. How's it going, by the way, till now? How is a lot of audience, good reviews?
Yes, it was packed. All the showings were packed, and it was very strange because for me it was the first time I was seeing with really completely full house, and I know that you cannot applaud after this movie. You don't feel like applauding even if you like the movie, you know? And so I was watching and I said, now let's see what happened. And actually, at the end of the credit of the people who participated, there was some applause. But so it was really for me a very good sign, because normally you shouldn't be able to applaud after this movie.
I completely understand, yeah. And at the same time, by the way, you should also be in Centre Pompidou right now, shouldn't you? There's a huge retrospective of your work. Yes, I have a retrospective there, and we're going to have the premiere of the movie there. And no, in Cannes I got the best. One review in Variety, another one in Hollywood Reporter. If you have good reviews there, you don't need any other good reviews in the world. True.
This is because when they're intelligent, they're really great, because they talk about the movie in detail, and they speak better than a normal critic, because they have to explain to their readers what is the movie about. So those two reviews for me were the result of Cannes, and for me this is perfect. I'm afraid I have to go up the stairs.
The red. Oh, we will go there. We will applaud you before the movie then.
No, because I was told that I have to be there.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
I personally don't feel anything about going up the stairs.
Well, you wear fantastic shoes. You're so probably allowed to go up the stairs.
I got this.
Oh, very chic. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all. I'd like to thank all the speakers, of course, from the bottom of my heart from being here. And again, our partners, the Ford Foundation, the CNC, L'Œil d'Or, the Academy, the Documentary Award, and Screen International. Thank you all to you for being here. And see you at 6 in 30 minutes at the Plage des Palmes. We're having a cocktail, the Doc Lovers Mixer. So this day is going on until 8. See you there. Thank you very much.